Hey guys, it's Sadie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be trying out some Chloe Ting recipes. So, just a brief introduction before we get into the video. If you don't know, Chloe Ting is a super popular fitness YouTuber. On her YouTube channel, which she has about 20 million subscribers, she makes a bunch of videos on workouts, has a bunch of workout programs on her website, chloeting.com. In addition to the workout portion on her website, she also has a portion where she shares a bunch of different healthy recipes. So, like I said, today I thought I would try some of those recipes. So in today's video, I'm going to be trying out the apple pie oatmeal, the strawberry matcha latte, rainbow flatbread pizza, and protein cookie dough stuffed dates. So let's just get right into it, starting off with the apple pie oats. For this recipe, I needed half a cup of rolled oats, 8.1 fluid ounces of unsweetened almond milk, but I used coconut milk instead because that's what I had, 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, half an apple, half a teaspoon ground cinnamon, a pinch of ground nutmeg, a pinch of ground ginger, a tablespoon of maple syrup, but I used honey because that's what I had, 2 tablespoons chopped pecan, with a teaspoon vanilla extract. First step to this recipe was making the apple pie topping. So all that I had to do for this was just chop up the apple and then add the cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and honey. Then I had to stir everything together, microwave everything for 1 minute, then stir everything again, then set it aside. Then I had to make the oatmeal base by adding the oats, coconut milk, salt, and vanilla, then microwaving everything on high for 2 minutes. So this is where everything kind of started to go wrong. Basically, the recipe said 8.1 fluid ounces of milk, which is a cup, right? So I added that, but the consistency was way too liquidy for oatmeal. Wasn't about to waste everything I had just made though, so I decided just to add the toppings and finish everything up. So what were my final thoughts on the apple pie oatmeal? I thought it was really good. I would rate it a 7 out of 10. The apples were absolutely delicious. The spice was amazing. I would definitely make the apples on their own again. The oatmeal was okay. As I said, it had way too much milk, but I think that was my fault because I must have read the recipe wrong. But I think it honestly would have tasted better with almond milk, so next time I make it, I will try it with that. For this recipe, I needed 100 grams of strawberries, 1 tablespoon matcha, 120 milliliters of milk, 80 milliliters of hot water, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey. First step to the recipe was blending the strawberries up in a food processor and adding the honey, but I was too lazy to get out a food processor, so I just tried to mash them up with a fork. It turned out to be very hard to mash up the strawberries, so I just got a handheld food processor and used that to blend them up instead. After that was done, I just had to make the matcha, so I did that by putting the matcha powder in the bowl, then adding some hot water, then whisking everything together. Finally, I had to assemble everything, so I just got this cute little mason jar-esque glass, then I scooped strawberries onto the bottom, then I poured in the coconut milk, and then I put the matcha tea on top. The matcha ended up kind of being a disaster, and I got it all over my surface, but I would say the layers did turn out pretty well. My thoughts on this recipe was that it was super easy to make and very delicious. The strawberries were super good. I didn't think they even really needed the honey. The matcha was good because it was just basic matcha, and overall it was really good. I think it should have been served a little bit warmer, which was my fault because the coconut milk wasn't warm and I could have warmed it up. And then I think that the strawberries could have been like more finely ground because they kept getting stuck in the straw, so maybe I should have used a thicker straw. But overall it was good and I would rate it a 9 out of 10. Ingredients that I needed for this recipe were 1 whole wheat flatbread. I just found this lavash bread, I think, at the store, so I used that instead. 1/4 of a red onion, 1/4 of a green bell pepper, 1/4 of a cup of corn kernels, 5 orange cherry tomatoes, 1/4 of a red bell pepper, 2 tablespoons of hummus, cooking spray, and some black pepper. The thing that I had to do was remove one of the flatbreads from the bag and lay it out on a pan lined with parchment paper. Next, I just diced up the veggies and got them ready to put on the flatbread. After cutting the flatbread in half, the next step was to spread it with hummus and decorate it with all the vegetables. Before decorating with vegetables, I just made sure to quickly preheat the oven to 375 degrees so that I could put the pita in for 10 to 15 minutes afterwards. After taking the pita out of the oven, I just quickly dusted it with pepper and then it was ready to eat. I thought the flatbread pizza was literally incredible. I give it a 10 out of 10. I loved the bread that it used. I loved the veggies. It was so good with the hummus and everything. Everything was in harmony. It was so simple, but it was just so delicious. I will definitely be making it again. Ingredients for this recipe were 1 can of chickpeas, 1/4 of a cup of almond butter, 50 grams of protein powder, stevia, sweetener, or maple syrup, I used honey, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and some dates. Next, I made the protein cookie dough, so I added the chickpeas, almond butter, protein powder, honey, and vanilla extract to a food processor and blended it up. So after tasting the cookie dough, I didn't really love it. The protein powder tends to have a weird taste, and I feel like that really showed through in the cookie dough, but I continued on to make the dates anyway. So I just plated the dates and then cut them to get them ready to put in the cookie dough. Finally, I just filled the dates up with cookie dough and then drizzled them in dark chocolate. I'd say that this recipe was okay. I feel like the concept was good, like the healthy cookie dough, but I feel like the actual cookie dough didn't turn out as well as I hoped. I think it was mostly because of the protein powder. It just had this weird flavor that was prominent throughout the cookie dough, and I feel like the cookie dough would have been better if I had made it with syrup or stevia, but I feel like the honey gave it a weird flavor. Overall, though, with the dates and everything sewn together and the chocolate, I feel like it wasn't too bad. I would give it a 5 out of 10. I feel like the recipe could have been so much better if I had just made some modifications. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing me make all these Chloe Ting recipes. They honestly turned out pretty well, not that I was expecting them to turn out badly. I definitely recommend you guys try out the recipes I made, but there are a bunch of other recipes on her website that would be amazing to try. That being said, if you guys would like a part 2 of me trying her recipes, then make sure to hit the subscribe button with notifications on and like the video. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!